Let me tell you, friend, there's a secret I had to learn the hard way, a kind of sacred magic that I stumbled upon only when I was at the absolute end of my rope. It's this divine frequency, this whisper from the universe, that you can only hear when you finally, truly, give yourself permission to just stop, to stop forcing everything, to stop pushing the river, to stop trying to be the frantic conductor of every single instrument in the grand, chaotic orchestra of your life. For the longest time, my hands were raw, my knuckles were white from holding on so tightly to what I thought my life was supposed to look like: my career, my relationships, the very shape of my dreams. It was a death grip, and honestly, it was killing me. If you've ever felt that soul-deep exhaustion from trying to hold it all together, just type "I resonate" in the comments. Your story matters, and by sharing it, you become a lighthouse for someone else navigating the same storm. Trust me, realizing you're not alone is the first step toward shore. There's this almost mystical quality to that moment of release, a feeling of pure, unadulterated grace that I can still taste. For years, my entire existence felt like I was trying to swim up a raging waterfall. Every muscle in my body screamed in protest. Every breath was a desperate, burning gasp for air. I was fighting this invisible, relentless current, because that's what I was taught strength was, right? We're told the struggle is noble, that it's the good fight. You spend decades pushing, controlling, trying to manipulate every single outcome, absolutely convinced that if you just hustle a little harder, plan a little better, force things a little more, the universe will finally give in and hand you what you want. You live for that imaginary day when all the pieces will finally click into place with a satisfying snap. But here's the thing that completely flipped my world upside down. What if that whole struggle, that exhausting, soul-crushing battle, was based on a complete misunderstanding? What if the direction you were fighting so hard to go was never your true, divine destination? And then, one day, in a moment of utter defeat, when you have nothing left to give, the simplest, most revolutionary truth washes over you. You don't have to fight the river. You can just turn around. You can cease the struggle, let out a breath you didn't even know you were holding, and just float. You can let the very current you were fighting against carry you. And let me be clear, my friend, this isn't defeat. This is divine alignment. It's a secret most people never learn. I see them everywhere, spending their precious life force in a state of constant, grinding resistance. They build these massive dams of desperation with their own two hands, thinking they're creating security. But what they're really doing is blocking the flow of everything they actually want: the abundance, the love, the grace that is their birthright. They're convinced that control is safety, that force is strength, and that letting go is just a fancy word for quitting. That's the great illusion, the lie the ego tells us to keep us trapped in the hamster wheel, small and perpetually exhausted. But here's the truth that nobody really talks about, the secret whispered on the quiet winds of surrender. The very act of gripping so tightly is what's keeping everything you desire just out of reach. Your frantic need to control is an energetic force field, repelling your manifestations. Your desperation is literally the dam blocking your own divine flow. Just take a second and feel into that. When was the last time something truly beautiful and unexpected happened in your life that you hadn't meticulously planned and stressed over? When did a miracle surprise you, not because you earned it through sheer grit, but simply because you finally got so tired that you left a little crack of space in your reality for it to slip through? These moments of grace are available to all of us, but they feel rare because we've been conditioned to believe that relaxing our control is a sign of defeat. But what if I told you that true victory, the kind that fills your soul, isn't about conquering the river? It's about becoming one with it. What if everything you've been struggling for has been patiently waiting for you, right here, on the other side of surrender? It's been waiting for you to just get out of your own way. The breakthrough you're praying for isn't going to come from more effort, more 5-year plans, or more control. It is, and always has been, waiting for you in the quiet space of surrender. Now, this isn't a call to be lazy or passive. This isn't about sitting on the couch and expecting the universe to act like a cosmic pizza delivery service. Not at all. This is an invitation to understand a fundamental law of creation that will change everything. The very same life force energy you are currently spending to force and control outcomes is the exact same energy that could be flowing toward creating them naturally. The energy you use to build the dam is the very energy the river needs to flow. And when you finally get this, I mean really get it in your bones, a seismic shift happens. Everything that was stuck, stagnant, and frozen in your life begins to move with a grace and power you could never have manufactured on your own. I know you felt this before, even if you didn't have a name for it. Remember that time you were desperately hunting for a job, sending out hundreds of resumes, and getting nothing but silence? And then, the moment you finally gave up, truly surrendered, and decided to trust that the right thing would find you, bam, you get a call out of the blue for the perfect opportunity. Or how about that relationship that blossomed the second you stopped trying to be the perfect partner and just showed up as your messy, authentic self? Or that creative project that felt like pushing a boulder uphill until you walked away, took a breath, and came back to find the ideas flowing through you like a divine download? Those weren't just coincidences, my friend. Those were not random strokes of luck. They were glimpses into a higher reality. They were sacred moments when you accidentally stopped resisting and aligned with the universal flow. But here's where the journey gets really deep. And honestly, this was the part that took me the longest to learn. Letting go isn't just about your job or your relationships. The most profound transformation happens when you let go of the war you're waging inside yourself. It happens when you finally stop fighting against the parts of you that you've been trying to change, fix, or improve your entire life. It's that sacred moment when you stop forcing yourself to be someone different and you finally, bravely, allow yourself to be who you actually are in all your magnificent, quirky, imperfect glory. Most of us are walking around carrying these invisible backpacks full of rocks. We're shackled to old versions of ourselves we think we should have outgrown. We carry emotions we judge ourselves for still feeling. We carry dreams we've dismissed as too silly or impractical. We are constantly at war with our own authentic expression, convinced that if we just discipline ourselves enough, we can finally become this perfect, polished version of a person. But perfection was never the goal. Alignment island, flow island. And you cannot find your flow when you are constantly trying to squeeze your beautifully unique soul into a mold that was never meant for you. Flow happens when you stop resisting who you are, and you start co-creating with the divine energy that is already present within you. When you're not spending all your energy fighting yourself, that energy is freed up for creation, for joy, for miracles. You become a clear channel for source. You start noticing the subtle signs, the divine guidance that was always there, but you were too busy trying to control everything to see it. When you stop trying to kick down doors that are locked, you suddenly see all the ones that have been standing wide open the whole time. The beautiful irony in all this is that letting go takes incredible strength. It takes divine courage to release control when our entire society screams that control is the only way to be safe. It takes profound wisdom to know the difference between giving up and allowing. And it takes a deep, unshakable trust to believe that there is a loving intelligence, a higher power, that is working on your behalf. This is where most people get stuck. I know I did. We want the benefits of letting go, but we're terrified of what will happen if we actually do it. What if I let go and nothing happens? What if I end up disappointed? What if this is all just a nice idea, and I'm just admitting I'm not strong enough to make my life happen? These fears are so real, and they come from that fundamental misunderstanding of what letting go actually island. Letting go doesn't mean becoming a doormat. It means becoming responsive instead of reactive. It's about learning to feel the difference between an action that comes from a place of inspiration and one that comes from a place of desperation. It means trusting that when you align with your authentic energy, the right things will be drawn to you, not because you wrestled them to the ground, but because you created a welcoming space for them through your own presence. But you have to understand this crucial part of the journey. The transition from forcing to flowing isn't always a smooth, gentle ride. There's often a period of, well, discomfort. A sacred, sometimes scary, space between letting go of the old way and fully trusting the new one. During that transition, it can feel like nothing is happening. It can feel like you're just floating in a void, in limbo. You're not pushing anymore, but you can't feel the full momentum of the flow yet. This my friend, is the moment of your greatest test. This is where most of us panic and scramble right back to the familiar prison of control. The temptation is to think, see, it's not working. I have to go back to forcing things. But that transitional space isn't emptiness. It is pure, unadulterated potential. It is the sacred pause before the breakthrough. It is the quiet intake of breath before the song begins. And learning to be comfortable in that space, learning to trust the process even when you can't see the results yet, that is the master key. That determines whether you will actually experience the transformation your soul is crying out for. Because once you make it through that transition, once you learn to surrender without becoming passive, everything changes. Life starts to feel less like a battle and more like a beautiful, unfolding dance. You're still taking action, but it comes from a place of ease. There's a natural rhythm to it that feels sustainable, not exhausting. And the things you were trying so hard to force, they either show up effortlessly in a way that's even better than you imagined, or you realize, with a sense of profound peace, that you never actually wanted them in the first place. That career path you were killing yourself for loses its appeal when work that genuinely lights up your soul emerges. That version of yourself you were trying to become feels like an ill-fitting suit when you discover the incredible power of who you are when you're not performing. That's the great paradox that nobody tells you about. The moment you stop needing something to happen, you create the perfect energetic container for it to happen naturally. Not as a reward, but because your surrender finally removed the barriers that were blocking it all along. Your desperation was the static, your control was the wall. When you remove them, what's left is the raw material of pure possibility. So, I have to ask you, my friend, are you ready to stop fighting? The river is still there. It was always there, waiting for you. The only question is, are you ready to turn around and let it carry you home?